In a sense, we might say that ignorance really is just nothing other than a lack of experience in things. People who are ignorant about politics just haven't read very many political books, haven't listened to a lot of good political commentary, haven't thought deeply about politics, haven't really wrestled with the ideas. Therefore, they are literally inexperienced with the ideas that they themselves hold in their mind. So the key that will unlock all of your life very practically is gaining more experience and being deliberate about it. Having a plan, having a strategy, so that your experience is leading you towards something. It's not just haphazard, random experiences that are just kind of cool or fun or pleasurable. It's not about the pleasure of it, although, of course, you should try to enjoy the experience when you're having it. But it all boils down to experience, because reality is nothing but experiences, we might say. And this exposure to experience is also a very good antidote to the biggest epistemic problem of all, which is belief and ideology. And you know how much I speak about those things as negatives. Belief and ideology and self-deception. What is the ultimate solution to all of the epistemic problems? How do you become unself-deceived? Experience. It's experience. To know anything within reality, you need deep experience with it. And the deeper the thing you want to know, the more experience you need, because the more deceptive it's going to be. And the more experience you need with the deceptions, the more you got to fall into the traps, get deceived, then realize, oh shit, I've been deceived, then correct yourself, that would be a failure, and then persevere past that. So perhaps the most profound area in life where people have the least experience is with epistemology, with the functioning of their own mind. You see, that itself is one of these sort of abstract skills that you should be wary of, as most people have no idea this is even a skill, but yet this is one of the most important skills you can develop in your life, is the abstract skill of becoming deeply experienced with the trickeries of your own mind, how your own mind fools you, how beliefs work, how ideology works, how you get trapped into different paradigms, how your ego reacts, how it emotes, and why it's doing these things for certain survival purposes that are holding you back, that are counterproductive, out of fear and selfishness and judgment and hatred and all these other things we've talked about, unconsciousness. So basically becoming conscious of the functioning of your own mind and psyche. And this is very different from just getting beliefs. See, like, you can listen to some psychologists on YouTube talking about psychology to you, whether it's Jordan Peterson or somebody else. You can even listen to me talking about psychology to you. You can listen to me talking about spirituality to you or whatever. But what's the use if you don't have the reference experiences for the things that are being said? Right? Like, notice that there's a difference between, like, for example, me teaching to you about the hero's journey and you sitting there learning it and listening to it. That's not a very deep learning, though, because it's all just ideas and beliefs in your mind. Versus you actually going and experiencing the hero's journey for yourself. Like when I talk about threshold guardians, or I talk about the belly of the beast, or I talk about the wise old wizard. These are all standard, elements of the hero's journey, or the Holy Grail. When I talk about the Holy Grail of the hero's journey, do you have a reference experience for that, for what that means? What is the Holy Grail? You don't know, probably. And so to you, this teaching is just like a cartoon. Whereas actually, if you actually did go on a hero's journey and you actually faced some threshold guardians and they kicked your ass and you had to go lick your wounds, and then you met a wise old wizard who taught you some lessons that helped you along the way, gave you some magic powers. Maybe like 5-MeO-DMT that help you along the way. And maybe if you did go to the belly of the beast, or the belly of the whale rather, and maybe if you did discover some holy grail, you see, this would be experience. This is what would make you a true hero, is the experience of that, not reading about it in a book, not hearing about it from some crusty old professor who himself hasn't done it. Absolutely everything that you think you know about the world, every single word that humans utter, only makes sense to the extent that there's a reference experience to which that word is pointing to. Like when I say the word love, you only understand what that means if you have a reference experience. And your depth of understanding of what love is limited precisely by your reference experiences. Maybe you loved your dog and then it died. Well, that's like one experience of love that you had in your life. And so if that's your only experience of love, then how rich is your understanding of love going to be when I use that word? And if I'm talking about absolute love, divine love, God's love, metaphysical love, what is that to you? That says nothing to you because you have no reference experience for it. It's like a big blank in your mind. It's sort of like when I say Antarctica. You have a vague idea of what Antarctica is and means because you saw it on a map. Maybe you saw a video of it somewhere at one point in your life. Snow, mountains, white, glaciers, whatever, penguins. And that's it. Like that's your whole experience and understanding of Antarctica. It's extremely limited and cartoonish. Whereas there is the actual Antarctica that you could experience. But that's like a blank in your, it's missing. See, that experience is missing in your mind. So the word Antarctica to you doesn't mean very much. The way it would for somebody who's actually lived there for a few years in the cold with the penguins and whatever. And so it is with all words in the human language, especially with many spiritual words like God, or samadhi, or mystical experience, or psychedelics, or consciousness, or nothingness, or infinity. See, you have no reference experience for these things. Most of you don't. And so you're trying to understand these things, but you're lacking the reference experiences, you see? So rather than just spinning your wheels trying to understand these things in some sort of conceptual manner, what you have to realize is, aha, of course, I'm lacking the requisite reference experiences, and there's no amount of thinking that's going to solve that problem for me. I have to go and discipline myself to do some practices to gain the reference experiences that these words are supposedly pointing to that I don't have. Like, how do you know what an orgasm is? Only if you have a reference experience for it. And see, there are certain kinds of orgasms you don't even have reference experiences for. You might be under the impression there's only one kind of orgasm because you've only had one kind. See? So the limitedness of your reference experiences is sort of the limits of your reality. And it is what closes your mind down. So what I encourage for you very practically is look ahead 5, 10 years into the future and ask yourself, what kind of investments do I want to make into cultivating powerful reference experiences? How do I have to expand my current set of experiences that will help me to be the person that I want to be in 10 years? What does that practically look like? Where do I have to travel to? What kind of people do I have to talk to? What kind of conventions and conferences do I have to go to? What kind of work do I have to do? What kind of practice do I have to do? Do I have to meditate? What kind of meditation do I need? What kind of mystical experiences am I missing? Do I need psychedelics? Do I not? Do I need to sleep with certain people or befriend certain people? Do I need to just build technical skills with drawing, with painting, with music, with coding, with speaking, with writing, with thinking? And then especially ask yourself, what kind of abstract skills, rare skills that most people don't even consider or think of as skills, do I need to build? Do I need to have more experience with how my own internal mechanics of my mind work, with psychology? And then get to work building those reference experiences, expanding your experience set.